Welcome to this recording where I'm going to show you how to edit the home segment. Um, I've made the home segment into a library that I will share, and it'll just be called home. So when you open it up, you're going to see uh, what you see right here. You're going to see a bunch of old home segments from before, and they're usually just duplicated. And the way you duplicate a home segment, so how I created 8-2, I'll do that right now. I'll go to the last week's home segment here, 726. I'll hold Apple D. And if you look on the bottom right, you'll see the key presses that I'm making. I'll take out the number 1. Oh, it's making me do that. I'm going to rename it to this weekend, which is 8/2/2020. I'm going to double click that. You're going to see this come up. I'm going to zoom out. Apple minus. And this is how the home segment is organized. You're going to see the intro section here. I don't know if the audio is coming through, so let me check that real quick. Hopefully it is, but it shouldn't matter too much. So you see the home segment. There's a little section here where it shows the current date, and then this goes into the main part of the video, Pastor Dive speaking. And as you scroll to the end, you're going to see the outro. I made a slightly different outro last week, but I'm going to get rid of it. So this is the normal outro. So it's mainly in 3 sections. And then there's a music that goes underneath it. So there's this long piece of music called home background music. And then notice how the intro music tapers off. So once I'm here, notice I haven't imported anything. I'm going to go to my Finder. I'm going to unzip the file that I downloaded from Google Drive, which the link I will share with whoever is in charge of the current week, and I'll drag it into the bin here. There's a script file in there, and that's what I have open on the right. It's the script for the entire video with timestamps. So once I have it in here, I'm going to find it under July 31st. And then I'm going to expand this a little bit because I want to see the numbers. And oh, it's because there's so many. Okay, so now it's going in order. The first thing I'm going to do is import the main video into it, which is this home segment video August 2nd, 2020. I'm going to drag it over the current video. I'm going to let go, and then I'm going to have it replace. And if you scroll to the end of this, I'm going to get rid of some of the old footage that we're no longer using. But before I do that, I want to copy over some of these, just one of these, just so I have a template for what we're making here. And then I'll go ahead and delete the old videos. Just hitting backspace here. I'm going to check what this is. Yeah, that's a piece of the old video. And when you do that, this transition should just slide over. And I'm going to get to the music last, so I'm not going to worry about that overlap. I'm going to go back to the beginning here. And there's a bit of something happening here. So I'm going to make sure this home, which is this tiny logo on the bottom left, is at the top. It should help bring everything else down. For some reason, these things are acting up for me. I'm going to delete them. As long as I have one, I have a good template. I'm going to bring that up to the front. The first easy thing to do is replacing this photo here, which I believe was was not included in here. I have to put it in separately real quick, so give me a moment. I can find it. Okay, found the photo. I'm going to drag it in. And this time I'm not going to replace it. I'm going to put it on top. My computer is really slow trying to do a screen recording at the same time. I'm going to make sure the length of the photo is the same. I'm going to go to the old photo, hit Apple C or Command C, and I'm going to go up here to the new photo and hit Shift Command V. It's going to ask me, what do I want to paste into this? I want to paste the crop. And then once I do that, I'm going to add these transition fades to either end by pressing Command T. And now that the new photo is the same as the old one, I'm going to delete this one. So now if I play it, it should fade. Cool. Computer's lagging, so you can't really see some of this transition work. I'm going to make sure, I want to know why it's being so bad. I'm going to maybe edit on proxy and maybe that'll help speed things up. Shouldn't take very long. So while that's going, see all these timestamps here? I'm going to go ahead and start marking all of these things. So good way to work with timestamps is if you hit the index and go to tags, it'll display all the markers you have. I'm going to just go to the beginning of this video here. Make sure nothing else is selected. The way you can tell that is if you selected something else, see how this timeline is red? It means something else is selected, which is this yellow outline. You want to just kind of click anywhere else other than where you want and see now how this is yellow with the dot. That means your focus is the the playhead. So from here, I'm going to hit plus, and the first thing I see here is at 9 seconds. So I'm going to hit 9, and I'm going to do 0, 0. The reason being is this is a 24 frames per second. So how this goes is you got 24 seconds, minutes, hours. So you want to put the 0, 0. Otherwise, if you just put 9 like this, you're telling the playhead go to the 9th frame. What we actually want to do is go to the 24th or the 9th second. So you put the double 0 at the end to make sure it says 9 seconds at 0 frames. So it says plus 9 seconds to the right. So you hit enter. It's going to take you 9 seconds into this video. And then once you're here, you're going to hit M. Make sure you select the clip, otherwise it might put the marker up here. And now we have that selected. I'm going to hit M again, and it's going to ask, what do you want to name this? I'm just going to put 1 for photo 1. And then it says at 17 seconds, so 9 to 13. So I'm just going to do some math here to speed it up. Plus 4. So if I select here and put 4, come on. So again, that dot plus 4, which should take me to the 13th second. I'm just going to drop another marker there to tell me how long this piece of this photo needs to be on screen. So if I go back, I'm just going to double check I did my math right. If I did 13, so plus 13, 0, 0, yeah, it should line up. Sometimes when you get towards like the end here, sometimes the math gets a little wonky, so I double check to make sure. And then there's a triple check here too by actually watching the video. So I have that. So from 13 to 17, I'm just going to repeat the process. If my computer would stop lagging. So I'm going to hit 4 again to go to 17 seconds in. I'm going to hit M again. It's going to ask me what I want to name it. I'm going to hit 2 for photo number 2 right here. And then again, I'm going to hit 4, 0, 0, or plus 4, 0, 0, and then hit M again. And you know what? This home thing is kind of getting annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. By hitting B, I go to the blade tool. I'm just going to cut it at the beginning. And I'll show you how to extend it. I'm going to hit A to go back to my arrow. And then select that, and then hit delete. So now I don't have to constantly click back here to drop the marker. All right, so photo 3. 1 minute 27 seconds. So I could either add 1 minute and 10 seconds to this, or it might be easier to just go to the beginning this time around. I'm going to go to the beginning, plus 12700. Hit M. That's going to be photo 3. And then 3 seconds from there, make sure I click the timeline. Make sure the dot is there. It's really annoying. So this is going to be a 3-second long photo. Hit M just so I know when that ends. And then this time, see how 130 runs into the next one? So I'm going to hit M again. I'm going to hit 4 for photo 4. And then from here, I'm going to put another 3 seconds. So 130 to 133. 300. M. And then again, 133 runs into the next photo. So I'm going to hit M again. Hit 5. Again, rinse and repeat. I'm going to click that. Another 3 seconds. M. And this should be 6. Just going to see what these other markers are so I can clean it up a little bit. Okay, so that's the end of that. That's the end of that. That's the end of that. There's some markers here that I don't want to get thrown off by. All right, where were we? We were at photo 6. So that's also 3 seconds long. I'm going to click back here, 300, M, and then another 3 seconds for number 7. And then from here, another 3 seconds. And that's also running into photo number 8. And then 8 is also running into photo number 9, so another 3 seconds here. 9. And that's running into 10, so I'm going to click back here. And that's also 3 seconds. And again for 10. And then 10 is running into 11 again for after 3 seconds. And this is how I know I'm not skipping anything. And 11, it looks like it should be running into here, but I don't know why. So I'm just going to give it 3 seconds from here for now, and then I might adjust it later. So I'm going to go to number, so from 11 to 12, I'm going to add another 3 seconds in. So these timestamps are not always like perfect. So that's why we double check and triple check to make sure they're lining up perfectly. So I did a lot of math here. I want to make sure that photo 12 at 152 lines up right here. and it should last for 3 seconds. So I'm going to put one last marker. Oh, yep, M. And I'm not going to name that one because that's like an end marker. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I want to just make sure photo 12 is lining up. So from here, I'm going to add 1 minute and 52 seconds. And for some reason, it is not. Oh, because it should be 1 minute and 54 seconds. This is just for my own sanity here. Yeah, so that lines up. All right, photo 13, 2 minute and 23 seconds in. Let's go there. Drop another marker. It should be 13. And this is 3 seconds long, so I'm gonna plus 3. And from here, this runs into 14, so I'm gonna hit M again, which lets me rename it. And then from here, drop another 3-second thing. And that's gonna run into 15, so hit M again. And I'm guessing 15 is gonna be, well, 4 seconds. Oh, you know what? These are 4 seconds. Oh, geez. So it's okay. I'm going to right click these markers. Start back here. She wants 4-second intervals. No. 3 to 4 to 4. I'm going to undelete the last one. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Let's go back. So 13. Let's try that again. That's 3 seconds long. M is going to be 14. And then 14 is going to be 4 seconds long. And then this is going to turn into 15. And 15 is going to be 4 seconds long. All right, and then that's going to turn to 16. 16 is going to be 16 seconds long, right? 50 minus 34. Okay, done with that. Let's go to 17. So I don't want to do that math because I might mess it up, so I'm going to go to the beginning. Let's go to 3 minutes and 12 seconds in. Here's some old ones we don't need right now. And then hit M again, so I could mark that as being 17. And then 17 will be 4 seconds long. This is a lot of photos. Usually there's maybe 8, 7. This is like double or triple. So this seems very tedious, but it's not like this usually. And then 3 minutes and 53 seconds. So let's go back. Drop a marker there. That's going to be 18. And that's going to be 7 plus 4, 11 seconds long. So ignore these for now. This is like editing to the video clip or the audio. And if we did that now, it's going to start screwing up a lot of these timestamps. So I usually come back in later to do that. So photo 19 is 4 minutes and 21 seconds in. We're almost there. MM 19. And that's going to be 3 seconds long. And that's going to be 20. And that's going to be 18 seconds long. Yeah. Okay, so we finished that. Sometimes there's a lot more audio editing than just this, but it looks like there's only one, which is easy. So I'm going to go to 4 minutes and 8 seconds. I'm going to mark this just for now. And it looks like this piece is, so 4 minutes to this section. So I'm going to just listen. Okay, so I know the part. Usually if there's more, I'll work backwards because if I start working from the front of the clip, it's gonna screw up all of these timestamps. So I'm just gonna, this is where zooming in helps. You could either zoom in this way, or you could also go to this film strip right here and increase the amount of, see how it makes the clip bigger and smaller? And this is the ratio of the bottom panel, the audio panel to the top panel. So this helps with the waveforms. And I know she starts speaking because you see how it peaks. I'm gonna go to B. I'm gonna cut it here. And then I think, yeah, this is 21, 4 minutes and 21, which coincides with number 19. So if I go number 19, see how it lines up? I'm gonna delete that or cut it right there. I'm gonna select this clip that I don't want, hit backspace. So I'm just now gonna see how this sounds. Yep, so if I just go, yeah, that's fine. And that cut is perfect, you know, it's barely noticeable. So that's the only audio thing. Now, this is the easy part, relatively speaking. I'm gonna zoom out again. See, the only thing about making this bigger is that it also makes these like overlays bigger, which is sometimes annoying, but hopefully it should be fine. And sometimes if it is really annoying, since I'm not working on the audio for now, I can, what I can do is decrease that one more time. Just make it a little more manageable for my screen. So now I go to marker 1 and take photo 1 from July 31st for August 2nd. I'm just going to start dropping things in. And I'm going to line it up to match the next marker over. I'm going to go to 2. I wonder why 2 is like that. Yeah, so there's a gap in between. So 13 to 17. I'm going to go to 2, drag photo number 2 over, and make sure that snaps. And if it's not snapping for you, you can hit hotkey N, which turns this thing on and off, which is turn snapping on. Sometimes it's really convenient for this, but if you need to make a fine adjustment and you're not working with markers, or if a marker is getting in your way, that's a good time to turn it on or off to your discretion. So I'm going to go to 3, and this is kind of tedious, but you're basically doing the same thing. So you could either drag it from the right, and then we got 4. So I know these next few are consecutive. I could either do that, or I can take my blade tool and just cut it and then delete the end off. And then 5, go to 5. And then zoom in just so it's a little bit easier for me. 6. And this arrow shows me that I'm using it. So 7. Yeah, 8. Just making sure it's still lining up. 9. Always good to double check. 10, 11, 12. Let's go to 13. 14. Just making sure. And then 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. And here's 20. Well, I guess this is it. Proverbs 18:24. Proverbs 18:24. So this should actually be number 20. Just gonna make sure. So now my photos are in place. And just to save myself a lot of headache later, before I format it correctly, I'm just gonna make sure they make sense with what she's saying. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Just making sure the context fits. So she's talking about memories. Just making sure as she's talking about her life, you're not getting like a dog photo. And also making sure like the photos are decent quality. Let's see. So Bible, friends. Okay, so right here we have an issue. It's the same photo twice. So did I screw up? 15. So it looks like it's the same thing, but be unoffendable is what is being emphasized here. So what I have to do now is, uh, well, I guess it's okay. When you transition, people should see that. Typically, I might take this out and just zoom in on this. Maybe I still can actually. I'm gonna go to, because I would have to edit this in like Photoshop or something, and just helps. Another thing you can do is you do like a Ken Burns thing, which is a little more, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it might be more advanced. What it ends up doing is if you do Ken Burns, it'll like zoom in. But you know what? I don't think that's necessary because that means I'm going to have to do it for all the other points. I'm just going to leave it as is. So notice how she goes into Proverbs here. I don't know if you hear the audio, but she goes into Proverbs here. So it doesn't make sense that Proverbs starts up there. And she's still talking about, she goes, number one is. So I might have, I don't think I did it wrong, but hey, stuff like that happens. I'm gonna scoot this over and just start it later and make sure that it still makes sense. I don't know why 13 Little Brown Bible needs to go. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to me. But hey, it's what's in the script. It's not like crazy out of place. This makes more sense to me. I'm gonna go to the next one. So she goes into point number 2 here. That makes sense, but it cuts off too early. She stops speaking around here, so I'm gonna just extend that. On to the next one. So she goes, this is what Proverbs 17:17 says, and then she stops right there before going into the verse, so I'm gonna drag that back. And wait till she. So when she finishes the verse, that's a good time for the thing to drop off. Number 3, pretty reliable. Kind of, she finishes their point like right around here. So here's a good way to slide it over. So I could either hit A, which is my normal tool, and slide this over, and then slide this over, or I can hit the trim tool, T, and see how the arrows go on both sides like this with the 2 film strips butting up against each other. If I do that, I can kind of slide over this transition point. I'm going to snap it to my playhead. It's just a quicker way of doing it. I'm going to make sure she finishes the verse. Cool. It cuts off a little early, so I'm going to extend it. And that is it. So a couple more steps here and we're almost done. I'm going to zoom back out. See this white background? Well, actually, this might be easier. I'm going to go to this photo from last week. See how it has a nice white border and the drop shadow? I'm going to click on the photo. I'm going to hit Apple C or Command C. I'm going to select these 2 clips. I'm going to select the other clips by holding Command while dragging all of these. So now see how the photos I just laid down are selected. Again, I'm going to hit Shift Command V, which is a shortcut for edit, paste, attributes. So Shift Apple V, just in case you're wondering what that is. And I'm going to select all the right stuff, which is the border, the drop shadow. You don't have to worry about all that, but yeah, I want the scale and all that. I'm not copying over anything from audio. Yeah, so I'm gonna say paste. And now if I go to all the photos, they're gonna have that proper sizing and the drop shadow. I'm just gonna briefly check to make sure the photos aren't like too big or too small. And before I unselect, I'm gonna hit Apple T, which is, if you go here, Apple T is the shortcut for add cross dissolve, in case you were wondering what that was. So if I hit that, it's going to add a dissolve to the front and the back of every one of these clips. So now I can delete that because I don't need that anymore. And now I want a white background for all of this. So I'm going to make sure I don't select the interior part of it, but see this gray part of it? That includes the fade in and out. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to zoom in. And this is kind of tedious as well, where I have to drag it underneath. and sometimes it doesn't like being nice. And so now if I look at the clip here, see I need both these things to enter at the right same time and exit at the right time. So I put it underneath so that the photo is on top. I go to my trim tool, again, hit T. I go to just in the middle of anywhere this gray area, and I'm going to drag it over there. And at that point, it's just doing the same thing over and over. So I'm going to drag it underneath. Oh my gosh. Sometimes it's really annoying because it doesn't want to get in between. You know what? It actually might be easier to make the adjustment and then drag the photo on top of that. And see how it's like snapping and being really annoying? That's sometimes where you want to take snapping off, but here's another way to speed up this process. So I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to click that part again. I'm going to hold Option and then drag, which is copy drag. I'm going to put it on top. Take that trim tool one more time. Go to the end. Make sure it lines up and then drag it underneath. Oh wait, not drag it underneath. I forgot. I'm going to drag this on top. And this is where you really do want to make sure it's lined up. See that right side? That's how I know it's lining up. Let's scroll forward. Option, drag again, one more time. Make sure the left side lines up. Hit T so I can trim this up again. Hit A to go back to my arrow. Make sure the right side lines up. Rinse and repeat. Option, drag. Make sure my left side lines up. Here, when it's too long, I could hit B, and my cursor will snap to the edge here. And if I click the inside this time and delete that, that transition will slide over. And then I'll put this on top. Option, drag. Make sure the left side lines up with the 3 bars. Do that. Option, drag one more time before I drag these two. That is another way of doing this as well, where once you have, well, that's the end, but let's say I did it for all these clips, then I could select all the bottom clips and I could actually just raise them all up at once. Make sure I'll sometimes go in because I can't tell. See how I overshot? That's why I wasn't lining up. I'm going to bring that back. So now, that's not it. This one didn't get dragged out properly. Yeah, sometimes it's really weird. You just have to make sure. And finally, I'll go back and do 2 things. One, I'm going to do the music. Drag it to the end. So if I play it, see this little like teardrop thing? I don't know if you can see it, but this is what fades the track out. I'm just going to make sure it fades out as the ending track comes in. And I don't know why this is black. Huh. Oh, maybe because it's not, there's no proxy? Did I delete it somehow? Huh. Let me make sure. Whoops. I might have deleted. Yikes. Might have deleted the intro section. Well, I'm not going to worry about that right now. So let's say that intro section didn't just get deleted. Um, this is fine. The transition happens a little bit later. Zoom out. The only other thing I do here is I select her clip. I go into audio. You don't have to do this because I could always edit this later. Actually, I can't edit this later. So if you select the main video clips and you go to this audio section here, there's an audio analysis. I'm gonna hit that one, which is gonna analyze the audio. And I'm gonna hit loudness because that usually makes it like normalize. See how those waveforms hit right on that line there? It's much louder now. And I don't know how to do this from here, but you could leave it like this and that's fine. But I have a echo reducer that I put in to help reduce some of that like room echo that she has going on. So you might not have to worry about this because you don't have access to this. Okay, I'm gonna copy that. Shift. Make sure I'm gonna just make sure that effect gets included in. See how these waveforms don't match up with that? I'm just gonna make sure it matches up. So I'm gonna drag this up. Just a quick way to visually tell if I'm in the right ballpark. It's really hard to tell right now, so I'm gonna increase it. So now the volume should be consistent. Cool. So all that works, and that's basically it. At the end of this, you have to export. So how do I like exporting this? I export it in 4K 24. So once all this is done, you go here, your Apple devices 4K. Make sure you're not looking at proxy media. That might help. Oh, okay, so it was a proxy thing. Well, I'm glad I don't have to recreate it. So everything's done pretty much. Everything makes sense. Oh, the last thing. We're gonna make sure this title spans the entire video and that it's on the very top so the pictures don't obscure it. So again, sometimes this thing is really annoying. Why do you do that? Yeah, so sometimes it doesn't behave the way it should, and it's really annoying. Why does it do that? I don't understand. Okay, now it's on top, so the reason why is when you go for these photo overlays, you don't want it to cover the home segment portion of it. The final thing I gotta check is making sure the ending and the beginning doesn't have passerby like just hanging around on the camera. See how she just kind of sits there for a little too long? So I want to cut it off like right there. I'm gonna take this right handle here and then I'm gonna just drag it over to the middle. So now when she signs off, it's an immediate cut over to the transition. I don't want it to linger around too long because then it gets awkward. Same thing here. See how she kind of just hung around there? I'm gonna drag this left side in. Yep. So photo looks good. All the audio cues are done. All the other miscellaneous photos are on top of the white background. They all have transitions. I know they've all been resized correctly. Audio looks good. Music looks good. Oh, when I cut this over and then shorten this video, I have to make sure the audio is also shortened. It's there's a lot of little details. It sounds really simple, but it's more about like attention to detail than anything. So now, once it's over, I can go to Apple devices 4K and I just go faster encode. Doesn't really matter for me. And then I don't have to include chapter markers. Save only. That's pretty much it. And then you hit next, save it, and you upload it to Google Drive, and you're done. So thanks for sticking through that. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.